Hey, it's a fantastic day. Sunshine, really perfect sailing weather, and I decided to do a little, all the little odd jobs. I'm now in my kolonihave, and I just bought some potatoes that I'll put into the ground, so I at least have potatoes for a little while. You never know in these times what you will need. So that's kind of the only crop that I can grow. A colony is actually sort of old-fashioned, where it's sort of a mini homestead, where in the sort of my grandparents' generations, when they had a colony here, it was to be self-sufficient with absolutely everything that you can grow yourself. So I could do that here, but as I am a sailor and I want to spend my life sailing, then I learned from last season that I can grow potatoes, because no matter, if there's water, no water, sunshine, not so much sunshine, they really take care of themselves. Everything else I need to attend to and water. So I can grow potatoes and then enjoy them in the fall. And again, this has absolutely nothing to do with sailing, but it is part of my life as long as I decide to still have a base on the ground. I'm sometimes debating, if I knew what I know now, I would have bought a slightly bigger sailboat with 3 full cabins instead of the 2. But I really wanted to give my teenagers a house on their own, so they could have freedom and meet with friends. But they don't use it in the wintertime. I think they might begin to use it again in the springtime, and maybe then get older. And if not, then I have an item that I can sell. I am sometimes playing with the thought of selling the tiny house here on its own. It's very easy to transform into a little bit of a financial buffer, so it's okay that I have it. It's not going to be right now, but you never know. This colony here is located in a part of Denmark where no matter how much you invest in a sort of small homestead like this, you'll never get very much in return. So it's always a balance of not investing too much. That's why I built everything with, or most of it with recycled material. I do remember when I started out watching YouTube channels of other sailors, that some of the young couples, they built tiny houses somewhere, and then they went sailing, and I was like really so inspired by that and envious of their decisions. And now I do have my little very cheap homestead, and I'm almost finished with the projects. I still have a generator that I bought last season that I want to connect to this tiny house, because it has all electricity installed, and it's the same as on a boat with 12 volts. And eventually, if I decide to keep this place, I'll probably have some solar panels just like I want on my boat. But for now, I bought a generator that can charge the battery, so that there's a little bit of electricity. And then it's very messy right now. It is a mess. It's the first time in the spring that I'm actually going in here. But I sort of renovated it, installed this kitchen that I got secondhand from a flat in Copenhagen. And there we have a gas stove. I also have the outdoor kitchen. Then there's in here we have the bathroom. And once I get the generator to charge the battery, it's fully up and running. And I sort of remodeled everything, so there's now this shower by moving some walls. And at some point I might give you a tour when it's actually not this messy. And then my son has his tiny room in here. And if I decide to sell it at some point, I'll probably transform this to kind of a living room, so that whoever might take it over, they can see that you can utilize this as a living room. Yeah, I actually just need to install some kind of a table in here. So this is the projects that I spent too much energy, too much time, too much money to have a base on land. And now I kind of think maybe I should just have bought a bigger boat. But you know what? I have it now. And here are my potatoes. I just bought them, and then I just put them out in the sun now so that all moisture is going to be dried off the surface. Then I'll put them in the darkness for 10 days. Then they should start to give these little eyes. These little, can you see it? Yeah, longer than that. And then I can put them into the ground, and then hopefully they're gonna provide me with potatoes for some month in the fall. We'll see. We'll see. And then it's almost Easter in Denmark, so I am later today. I'm gonna clean the wood, the teak on my boat, so that it is. So it looks a little bit better when I go sailing over Easter. I can also feel that I'm getting a little bit of, fed up, bored with sailing in and out of the harbor. Now that I know that I can do it and handle the boat and bag it in, then I really want to, go somewhere. And then the next days go somewhere else instead of sailing in and out. So that's why I kind of make all these procrastinating projects. Is that I really am too bored of sailing in and out of the harbor. But I will go sailing in Easter, and that's Saturday from now. This is my glass house that I built from recycled windows, and at some point I will paint it on the inside, all the different kinds of wood that I need. And it's so nice and warm in here. It's sort of, I put in a thermal roof and these big glass windows, so it's really warm. As soon as the sun is out, just a little bit also during the winter, it's very nice and warm. And the sofa I got for 0 krona, picked it up, and it's really great, and then it's very nice to sleep on. So yeah. And now that I apparently have decided to grow some potatoes, I'll have to prepare the land for it. I was really doubting, because I know that as soon as I start projects out here, I take time and energy and money away from the boat. But as I were doing projects today anyway, then I found these potatoes, and then I'll just start preparing the dirt so that I can put them in eventually. And this is kind of what it looks like when you haven't attended to it all winter. I'm not really interested in gardening, and I also know from experience that I'm not really very patient. So if I don't succeed the first season, then I kind of let it go. But I have this cabbage, which is supposed to be eaten now, and it's really, yeah, that's good. So I succeeded in that at least. Including garlic. I put some cloves into the ground last year, and they need to overwinter, and I can see that they're really coming up strong. So I will have potatoes and garlic. Okay, procrastination by mini homesteading is complete for today. I moved all my garlic into these flower beds so that I can get this under control. A little bit of order, dig for the potatoes. And now the weather is supposed to be snowstorm. Yeah, I'll take a break, and then I have the plan of cleaning the teak on my boat. I want to exchange it eventually, but I know that if I start doing the cosmetic improvements on Seawind now, then I'll spend all my energy on that. I am going sailing instead. What I do need to do is, I all the winter had sort of the ambition, the deadline of getting my wind vane installed by the 1st of April. So I will see if I can get hold of my 2 genius handy guys and brains this week. We already sort of figured it out more or less, but I need one who's able to weld aluminium. So maybe that's why I'm procrastinating by homesteading. Could be. And suddenly Spring is here. Okay, procrastination by miniature homesteading is complete. So now I am on Seawind again, and I want to clean the teak, and it's very easy actually. And of course, you know, this morning it was sunshine and I chose to do something else, but now it's been a snowstorm during the afternoon, and if you look at this really threatening cloud out there, it's kind of nice to be in the harbor, and then I can get the teak cleaned, and also I'll fill up the water tank, and then I'll day by day fill up the diesel by a jerry can, because it's a lot cheaper buying it per liter with the jerry can than buying it at the marina. And then when it's Easter this weekend, I'll wait for good weather, and then I will go sailing. Instead of going back to the harbour every day, I'll go to a new harbour, and then a new one, and then a new one. Then I'm just gonna have some good weather. This is all the old teak, and it really needs to yeah, I want to exchange it eventually. It's sort of coming off, and I want to, you know, modernize it. I don't want teak on a boat, but I know that if I start sort of beautifying Seawind now, then I'll spend all my energy and all my time doing it, and now I'll just sort of, yeah, clean the teak very easily, and then I will eventually figure out also if it's going to be a kangaroo grip or a threadmaster or whatever. I don't really know how to solve it yet. Also because here over the side it's also covered with teak, but it's very loose, and it's even, you know, yeah, it's you can kind of pick it up. I don't know if you can see that. I can pick it up. Yeah, and then you have all these fungus growing there. So if anybody have a good suggestion for how to replace it, then I'll be really thankful. And for cleaning teak or just brightening it, I'll use this oxalsyre. It's very cheap, and I'll take half of it, put in here with maybe 1.5 liters of boiling water, and then I'll go up and take the water hose, and then kind of make all the teak wet, and then I'll brush this on, and actually just leave it on until tomorrow, and then I will take the water hose again, and then use the brush, and then brush it off, and then it sort of brightens it up a lot. So this is what I'm gonna do now. These are one of these children's locks. I'll just push it down. Take this aluminium pot, and then I'll put in half. Yeah, then I have some. If it does really, if some places need some extra tomorrow, I'll have a little bit extra. And then I'll go up and get the water hose, make everything wet, and then boil some water, put it on. This is where my wind vane is going to be, so it's going to be more complicated getting off the boat once the wind vane is on. So it's a lot easier now to get water because the hose is back on. So I just get everything wet. Take a little bit care up here because there's a hole from the compass. I sold my compass, and that's for the electric wiring. That's a little bit hole down to the electronics, so I don't want that to get too much water. I don't know why he came this teak on the sides of the cockpit, but because it's convenient to sit there, not so hot. But yeah, just put water into the pot, then I'm just dissolving it. And you first don't, you know, put your head around, above the steam, and then I'm just filling the water tank at the same time. And then I'm just in need of my brush. Okay, then it's time to start just brushing this on. And I'm sort of getting all these ones here. Usually they're living in the boat. Every time I put water on the boat, I of course hose it off. But it's green. Make it a little thinner so I also get more of it, otherwise I won't have enough, I think. I actually plan to take on my really old suit, but I got so excited that I just started. So it's probably gonna have a lot of white spots, this one. It's kind of funny because in the winter time I don't see all these flaws, but then when the spring approaches, and suddenly I notice, and then I also get the energy of thinking, it's gonna be a little bit nicer to look at when all this mold is gone. You can buy a lot of teak clean and really spend money on buying special brands, but over the years I have really come to trust this Procrastination. Probably a little bit hard on the work, but I don't care. With a boat like this, I'm not that picky. When I was at the colony here, another guy who has a house up there, he's got the most wonderful sense of humor. He just came by, and it's a long time since I've seen him, because people are mostly there in the spring and the summer. So we had some really great dialogue about the current global situation, and I could really feel how important it was for him to find somebody to talk to, actually. So that was one of the unplanned, pleasant surprises of today. Meeting good people. Meeting good people. I like that when I get up in the mornings and I sort of have a plan of what's going to happen today, and then when something that I didn't plan happens, on the good account. There's so much shit happening sometimes also, but today it was a good encounter. But of course that set my schedule a little bit back. Maybe it's gonna have 2 times. It's very effective, but it's also very green, brown and black. Water tank is full. I'll just put the lid on again so that I'm not gonna get any kind of chemicals down there. Should have actually taken a before and after picture here. Well. Oh, I can already see the difference. I'll show you. So this is the side where I haven't put on the oxalsyre, and this is where I have put it on already. See if you can see the difference already. And this is just by the first round. It's so satisfying. It's already looking a lot better, and the sun is shining again. It's a really nice evening actually, and I'm going down to cook dinner. I'll just show you, and then I will give it one more time, because now I get ambitious. Now I want it to look really good, but it's already looking a lot cleaner, brighter, and then I'll give it another go tomorrow to get even more of this dark looking green moss, whatever it is, off, and use the true stuff in the corners to get it looking a little bit more presentable. And now I am mentally ready for spring, And then today we have a little bit of snow sprinkle. It will melt soon, but that's just March weather in Denmark for you. So yeah, what can I do today? My plan is actually to give the cockpit one more rinse with oxalsyre. Then I also have some of the rust transformer. So I might, if no more snow is coming, I'll open up the engine room and then probably put that on my turbo just to make it look good on the outside. Then there's one more little item. No, yeah, the rubber connection on my gear shaft needs grease, so I have some grease for that. But let's see, that's what I want to do. And I made bacon and eggs for my teenagers this morning. And then, of course, Aslan, the dog, also needs to be spoiled a little bit. He always wants to be outside. So he gets a little egg. And my drug is definitely cafe latte, made in a traditional Italian espresso cooker, and then my hot milk. So that's kind of the ritual of having that in the mornings. When I moved into the boat, I took it over, I renovated, and the stove is actually a little bit too little space here, so that you needed some protection from the heat. So I put on these mosaics, but due to the heat, they are falling off. So I think I'll have to have kind of a steel walled something constructed for that.